I want to feel like I'm doing something, like I'm protecting something that is so important and dear to me. And like, you just have the sense that you have to do this. It's a choice. I want to be here.
Welcome to What Came After. I'm your host, Manya Marcus. On What Came After, we'll take a look at the many ways people's lives have changed since the brutal massacre in Israel on October 7th, 2023. We'll be speaking to people around the world to learn how this profound moment in Jewish and global history continues to shift, shape, and change them. To learn more, please visit us at whatcameafter.com. So it is Sunday, March 8th, 2026. And as people know, I have been hopping around all the shelters because I'm not bar hopping, so I'm shelter hopping. And in one of them, I met this very luminescent young person. So tell me what you're doing in your life right now.
Okay, so my name is Shelly. I'm 21. I'm from Israel, obviously, because we're right now in Israel experiencing war. I'm a fourth-year medical student in Israel. I chose to first study medicine, and then I'm going to serve as a military doctor for like 5.5 years, something like that. And
so this is a really fascinating thing to me as an American, that somebody could say that they're a fourth-year medical student at your age. But this is a 7-year program, correct?
Right. So in America, you first do your first degree and then you get like pre-med, right? And then you go to med school. But in Israel, it's combined. You do your first degree or like your preclinical years that I've completed. Right now, I'm in the middle of fourth year. This war found me in the middle of internal medicine rotation.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I'm at home. I can't go to the hospital because everything is underground and there is no place for medical students running around there.
So this is really like essential personnel only right now when things are underground.
Exactly. It's also like you really want to help, but you know that right now you're not capable because I'm so far away from being a certified doctor. I still have 2.5, 3 years left on my journey. You know you want to help, but you're probably not gonna help right now.
So this is a moment where I think maybe it would be relevant to bring in a little bit of your personal story, which you shared a little bit of. And I think it's important to remind people that Israelis are not just Israelis in a war, right? You guys are all people with backstories and personal histories. And it's not surprising to me that you are really struggling to not help, because it seems like you grew up quickly and you've been maybe overly a helper in your life. Do you want to share anything about your background?
I do come from a family that has experienced some, family trouble. My parents divorced when I was 6 years old, and I don't have a relationship with my father right now. We stopped talking when I was like 10 years old. It was because of a thing with his girlfriend, and since then our relationship really never healed from there. I still grew up without one parent. But my mother, she's this really strong person, and she brought up me and my sister, and she really devoted herself to it. And I never felt like something was missing. But we also have a little bit of a difficult relationship. I also don't have the best relationship with my big sister. And I did grow up very quickly. I had to be the responsible one, the adult, since I was very young. Nobody asked me. I just had to in order to be a functioning person. And not only a functioning person, I think I'm a great person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a really good person with an incredibly open heart and mind. And that just stands in huge contrast to what I have experienced since childhood. And for that, I admire myself. And I'm very happy to be me.
And I think we all admire you too. Look, this is a whole different scenario for me because usually I'm here in a planned way and I know what I'm talking to people about, and we just met, right? And I'm trying to bring to the fore, so that people can really understand that there are many different things that can make a person resilient or can break them, right? And it's not just being Israeli and being around war. It can be small facts of a life. So I appreciate you sharing it with me and with all of us. So that's kind of the smaller picture. And then there's this bigger picture. What year were you born?
2004.
What is your first memory of living in a conflict?
Okay, so it is a part of my childhood that it's so
interwoven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My first memory is of Tsukeitan.
We called it Operation Protective Edge.
I just remember it was summer and I have been in this acting camp. And because of the missiles, the end show of the camp, what we worked for all the time, it had to be canceled. And that was heartbreaking for me. And I think that's my first memory of what war took from me, which is now thinking about all the other things it took from me and the people I know who lost their lives or lost a big part of their life mentally or physically. It's so small, but as a child, it's so significant.
For you, it was huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my first memory, I think, my first clear one.
When did you realize that? Well, did you ever realize that this is not the way that everyone lived? You're very cosmopolitan, right? I now know that you've traveled quite a bit. You're aware of how other people live. When did you first have an awareness that this was not necessarily a usual society that you're living in or a common one?
This is a great question because, again, for us, it's such a regular state. So what Manya is referencing here is the fact that from ages 13 to like 15, I participated in this competition. It was like a debate, writing, and it had like tests with subjects we had to learn. And it was so intensive. And it was like a group competition. And it changed my life, formed me as I am today. Forever will be thankful for that.
So I just want to say the debate component is really significant, but also fundamentally it's an academic kind of competition, right?
Yeah. And I've always been very academic since a very young age. I've been in like a gifted program since I was in 3rd grade, and that was really the direction my life was going. And it is still going.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got to meet people from all around the world. And when I mean all around the world, I'm not only talking about Americans, I'm talking from like 60 different countries, at least.
Wow, that's a big competition.
That's a big competition. And many of those countries were countries who don't have diplomatic relationships with Israel, who are even at war with Israel. And it was my first experience of somebody judging me before I even opened my mouth. Or the first thing, of course, in this competition, when you meet people from all around the world, you're like, okay, so where are you from? Oh my God, it's so cool to meet you. So many people. I'm from Israel. Oh, no, thank you.
Even when you were 13, 14?
Yeah, and it was before it's gotten this bad, because it's gotten really, really bad since October 7th. And we're talking before October 7th. So it was bad even then. And some people did not want to talk to me. And some people did. Most of them did. And I knew that there was something about me being Israeli that would bug people and that would make people just not want to even try and get to know me. I was even afraid that the judges in the competition would be like, okay, they're from Israel, so let's not give them all the points we can give in the debate, for example. Luckily, we were not hurt by that. We did good. But yeah, being 14 and people just saying, oh no, I don't want to talk to you, you're from Israel. It's an experience that is very unique to Israeli people. I will say that I have experienced something really scary. I was in a group chat with all of the people I met, and there was a group of Palestinians that were living abroad, and they discovered I'm Israeli, and they started calling me and texting me and like, you kill children, you're a murderer, and like, I hope you know that. And it was really, 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 really scary.
Really sad to me. I mean, I'm sure it was scary at the time. That's really sad to me. What do you think that did in terms of shaping your identity as an Israeli or your Zionism, if you consider yourself a Zionist? How does this all... Where are you on the Zionism
Okay,
kind
so
of
I
spectrum?
am considering myself a Zionist, but not from religious reasons. The reason I'm a Zionist is because we are a nation that has incredible people who built this country that was sand and nothing before we came here. And we are the only nation in the Middle East that is truly democratic, that is so advanced in so many different literature and science and research and technology. And that's the reason I'm a Zionist, because we did this. We built this from nothing after the Holocaust, after being persecuted in many other countries. And that's the reason I'm a Zionist. And I also like to see myself as a Zionist because I am striving so hard to be someone significant, important, that achieved something in this world.
Do you think that any of that was shaped by these experiences where you were sort of harassed and harangued for who you are or where you're from?
I think for sure, because you have to be proud. You can't hide who you are because people will know. You don't want to hide where you come from when it's a nation this great. It also has a lot of problems, and I will not get into it right now, but I think like this frontier kind of essence, like it fills me with energy, like to move forward as well.
It's interesting. You're 21, and I often talk to people who are like a generation above you, maybe in their 40s, 50s, and they talk about that. They talk about the connection to the last generation that built this from nothing. But you have a very strong sense of that. Is there some reason that you think about that maybe more than your peers?
I think also because I got to know so many people from abroad, and I got to sense that they'll hold less connection to where they're from.
Their roots, yeah.
And it's visible. You can feel it. Their personalities are less strong, less like brought up. They're more confused about themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I think a lot about, somebody your age in an American academic context. And right now they might be doing a keg stand. Do you know what that is?
No.
Like where you do a headstand and you just somehow simultaneously drink beer like from a
from a keg.
And I can't look. I'm not going to knock American universities. I went to one. It was a lot of fun. It's definitely it's a way to be, right? But here, you're in your 4th year of medical school. Some people are doing, they've been in the military, they're operating the Iron Dome, right?
Right.
And that is not the case in many other Western countries.
Right. So you just touched on the point that is most important here.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are right now running the offense. Let's go down.
We have 90 seconds, so we'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to just say that we were just interrupted by a red alert. So we were in the bomb shelter for a while. And fortunately, Shelly is of very strong and sound mind. So she will bring us back to what we were talking about. Tell us where we were.
Okay, so we were talking about how it feels like people from abroad have a weaker sense of like their identity is less connected to their roots or like the country that they're from.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're Israeli, you have to actively think about it. Also because you're always persecuted like throughout history and today online and not online in war. So you have to actively think, I'm Israeli. What does it mean? How does it connect to my personality? And to the even bigger point is the fact that this war is right now being led by people my age. My friends.
I was saying that you have 21-year-olds here who are operating the Iron Dome.
Yeah, my boyfriend, my friends, people I know, they're doing the most amazing things. There are pilots right now, my age, flying over Iran. There are people who are protecting us and operating the Iron Dome. There are people who are doing intelligence and calculating what does this war mean and how do we move on and what can we do better for next time. And young people are the heroes of this war. So you can't just think, oh, I'm 21, I can do whatever I want. I have my whole life before me. Let's do a keg stand. That's how you call it?
Yeah.
Again, not in any offense to the Americans listening, but you have to have a very strong sense of identity, sense of self, sense of why I am in this country and what does it mean being Israeli, or else you get lost, or else you don't understand the meaning of everything. And then you will probably be depressed and just drained out of this war.
What was your experience of October 7th like?
I was actually doing my basic training then. I was not in the base. And because I'm going to be a military doctor, my basic training was like 2.5 months, something like that.
How long is it usually?
It depends on what you do, but if you're not doing anything, how do you say kravi?
Combat.
Like anything combat-y, then it's like 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops.
And yours was 2.5 months.
Yeah, and I'm going to be trained a lot in the near future, like in combat again, because I'm going to be a military doctor.
In the field, in combat zones.
In the combat zones. That's what I want. So I was in basic training, but I was home. Like I went home for the weekend and we woke up to the sound of alarms and I did not believe anything because I'm so used to like bullshit online. Sorry for...
Yeah, no, that's right.
So I was like, there is no way there are like white Jeeps driving in Israeli cities and terrorists on them, like just shooting people on the street. There is no way. I don't know where this video is taken from. There is no way there are people who were just in a party and they were like being killed. There is no way. This is just fake news. And then we heard it from more and more sources. We're sitting in the mamad, me, my mom, and my sister, and we're like, okay, this is not fake news. Like it's being reported in the news, and friends of my sister, friends of mine. I have a friend who lost her life in the Mutsav in a base, and I remember there were 24 hours after October 7th. People started posting on Instagram, if you heard something from her, please contact this and this number. And a week later, her burned body was found. So I think like this is when it started to get real. And it took a long time to actually believe the facts. It's so funny because no one believes us. But it was so unbelievable to me.
Even to Israeli, I think to a lot of Israelis, yeah.
And it took me a long time to process it.
What was it like going back to base?
Surreal, scary, because I had extra training than the basic soldier, like who's doing like 2 weeks. We were like guarding the base, but it was terrifying. It was very scary. But I was happy to be there.
Can you explain that? I want you to explain that because there's some way in which I feel happy to be here now, and it's sort of hard to talk about why I would be happy to be here in a war. Can you explain that feeling?
So I think this also connects to the fact that many Israelis abroad right now want to get back to Israel right now. It's all kind of the same. And it's because first I can talk about myself. I want to feel like I'm doing something, like I'm protecting something that is so important and dear to me. And like you just have the sense that you have to do this. It's a choice. I want to be here. And it's this sense that you want to be hands-on and you want to help and you want to be significant in the most significant like battle of life, because this is a battle of life, what we're doing here. We're trying to survive. And I want this nation to survive. It means a lot to me.
Was it before or after October 7th that you decided that you wanted to be not a doctor, but a doctor in the field in a combat zone?
It was before, but since then, I wanted it, but I didn't truly understand. But after October 7th, like it really clicked. Plus, I organized this event in like the military program I'm in. And I built this panel of people called the chain of treatment. We brought an injured soldier, the field doctor that took care of him. There is a unit that is transporting the wounded to the hospital by car, by helicopters, whatever. The doctor that operated on him and got his spleen out because he had an injured spleen. All of this chain.
So you brought real people who had been in these positions.
Right. Okay. And they talked about the experience and it forever changed me Because first of all, it's always nice to feel like I brought these people together. Think about like his surgeon did not see him since he was dismissed from the hospital. So
Wow.
I made those two people meet again, and it was so heartwarming because he was now healthy and okay.
Mm-hmm.
But when I heard the greatness of these people and what they went through and how they handled difficult situations, that your decisions are literally, it's a matter of life or death. And I was so inspired by it. And I was like, I want to be in this position of the doctor. She's a very inspiring woman. And I wanted to do that. So from wanting, it became knowing that this is what I want and need to do, be a combat doctor.
So I think that being here right now enforces this part of my personality that wants to be part of a big story. You know, I want to be part of the Jewish story, and it's nice to be here for a big chapter in history.
I do want to say, like, it's also very individualistic because I want this. It's because I appreciate this country because I think it holds a lot of morals that I hold, which is greatness and working like alone towards something and like building yourself from scratch. And I do want to emphasize it's not because, well, I'm Jewish, so I think I need to be with my Jewish people. It's because I individually believe this is what I want to do.
But when I think about being in your position, being in your age, making these kinds of decisions, I really understand the feeling that you have and the motivation that you have. And I think for me, what would prevent me from actually going forward is fear. And so I guess I want to ask you about your relationship to fear. I mean, we're running up and down from bombs, and you're talking about being in combat zones. What is your relationship to fear?
So I think this is also relates to me as a human being. When I said this, I again want to thank you for this podcast that you really try to bring and I believe like all the other people you interview to bring our personality and make people understand that we are individuals. This is not just like Jewish Israeli people who are like
All one way, yeah.
yeah. So again, I wanted to thank you for that. I deal with fear when I get to that point. Majorly, I'm very happy about it because it made me do a lot of things that if I have thought about it before, I wouldn't do. I'll give you a really small example, but my mom got for her birthday like this present to jump from an airplane, like
Skydiving.
yeah, skydiving. And she couldn't do it because she had like something with her sinuses or whatever. And it was already ordered. So I had to decide in like a matter of 5-10 minutes if I want to do it or not. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it instead. And I was 16. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And I was not afraid until the point of jumping off the airplane.
But you did it.
But I did it. So I think that if you know this is what you want, that this is what your morals and values like, this is what you want to do. I will be afraid, but I will deal with it when it happens. I don't want it to prevent me. Thankfully, this is how I am. This hope will not stop me to do it. I will be afraid, I'm sure, because it's terrifying. And it's a matter of life or death. And not only your life or death, but the life and death of the soldiers who know that they can go into the battlefield because there is a doctor there that will save their lives. So it is very scary, but it's not scary to me right now. And I say it humbly. It's just from the point of view that when I will get there, I will deal with the fear. And until then, I don't want to let the fear decide for me whether I'm going to do this great thing or not.
I have a last question for you that is potentially less profound, but I'm interested in it as somebody who lives in the diaspora. You didn't want to share your last name because you want to preserve the possibility that you will be able to work abroad. When you think about everything that people are saying about Israelis and all the demonization and the dehumanization that you face and that you've witnessed even before October 7th, what is it that makes you want to potentially work in other places?
Okay, so this is a great question. I also want to mention that I do come from a family that made Aliyah from the USSR. Former Russia. So they were also persecuted. And actually, my grandpa did not become a doctor. It was his dream, but he did not become a doctor because he was Jewish and he was discriminated against. So my family is very well familiar with the dehumanization of Jewish people. So I think it is important that you said the diaspora, and it does come to mind even before all the wars, because I know my family fought to come here. And what potentially would make me say I don't want to live here anymore in Israel, it is a little bit political, but I am scared of it becoming like a country that is controlled by religion. And if it will get to that point, it will break my heart, but I will get up and leave.
So interesting. I interviewed somebody who's, at least he's famous in American circles, named Yossi Klein Halevi. And he said that he thinks the biggest threat to Israeli society is not terror or war, it's the dissolution of democracy. And he says that as a religious person. So I think that you're bringing something up that's really important.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I know it was just a mamad visit, but it turned into much more.
Thank you so much. You made it so comfortable for me. Thank you, Manya.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe to What Came After wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us online at whatcameafter.com.
לפני השינה אני נושמת הלוך וחזור את כל מה שעבר עליי היום ובשנים האחרונות ובשנים שלפני ובשנים הבאות לפני השינה אני נושמת הלוך וחזור את כל מה שעבר עליי היום ובשנים האחרונות ובשנים שלפני ובשנים הבאות ואין מספיק חמצן לכל העומס הזה אז אני מנסה לנשום אוויר ואין מספיק חמצן לכל העומס הזה אז אני מנסה לנשום אוויר ולהזכיר לי רגשות ילדות זקים מפחד ולהזכיר לי רגשות ילדות זקים מפחד להיות בבית ליום חופשי אחד זה להתבלבל בין תקופות להסתחרר בין עצמי ולבקש את מה שכבר נגמר לייצר בתוכי זה להתבלבל בין תקופות להסתחרר בין עצמי ולבקש את מה שכבר נגמר לייצר בתוכי לפני השינה אני נושמת הלוך וחזור את כל מה שעבר עליי היום ובשנים האחרונות ובשנים שלפני ובשנים הבאות